Hello and welcome. Day everyone. I have no idea when this is going to be uploaded. However, I plan on submitting one of these once a month starting out. If you want to stay updated on my art and just random things in general, such as where I am vending and where you can find my work, you can follow me on social media as Salvation Bridge Art. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you enjoy my art and want to support what I do, please consider sharing my work and subscribing to my channel, as well as liking my videos. That said, welcome! This is Remember the Seventh Day. Remember the Sabbath Day. My goal is to give others creative tools for healing and enrichment. Get out your paintbrushes, pens, markers, colored pencils, whatever it is you have available for a creative outlet or medium. I implore you to please join me in creating to enrich our soul. During this video, I ask that you do not do any chores or work. Nada. You have 20 minutes here to do something creative, and I really want to encourage you guys to use that time to your advantage. This is your free ticket to do some self-care, so to say. Each episode, I will have some tips and personal stories to share that I hope will give you guys inspiration and a foundation to make this therapeutic tool work for you. All that said, let's get creative! Alright, so before I go into today's lesson, I just would like to put a quick disclaimer that I am not a licensed therapist, and these videos aren't meant to clinically treat any mental illness whatsoever, but rather enrich everyone's life and give them helpful, soothing tools to use along with prescribed treatments if you are struggling with mental illness. Please seek professional help first, and then come back here and get creative with me. Alright, so today's topic is stress. This is something we all endure in our life, some more than others. But unless you are void of all feeling and are a doshi, a Taoist monk, I probably pronounced that wrong, by the way, I'm sorry. You most likely deal with stress more often than you would like to. There are many ways we cope with stress. Mine used to be really hot baths, which I don't recommend, as depending on who you are and your physical health, this could be dangerous for you. However, I love to fill a tub with a steaming hot bath with bubbles and some herbs like loose tea leaves and stuff, and I would do this and just soak in it after work. This would help my chest pain go away because unfortunately at the time I was in a very high stress season of my life, and it caused me to have high blood pressure and a lot of chest pain. For a relative of mine, they cope with stress by eating. I feel like that's probably a common one that we've all tried if we all don't already do. I could name all sorts of unhealthy coping mechanisms we use to deal with stress, but today I'd like to recommend to all of you to use creativity as a coping tool. I'm going to get personal with you. There used to be a huge chunk of my 20s where I did not use art as a coping tool. I viewed doing art as something I needed energy for and to be in a good mood for. Unfortunately, that energy and good mood seldom often came, and the more I didn't create, the more stressed out I was. I was stressed out about wasting time, but instead of using my time wisely, I would debate to myself what I should be doing with my time. So my time ended up running out. Probably sounds relatable. It wasn't until recently I was kind of forced into using my art again as a coping mechanism. And I say again because I used to draw animals in my room as a child to distract myself from some of the things that would go on at home. I didn't have friends, and I wasn't able to use people to escape my situation, distract myself, so I used self-soothing tools to endure what I was going through. And thankfully that tool wasn't drugs or anything bad, it was art. I would consume myself with drawing horses at the time because I had an encyclopedia of horses growing up. So I would love to sit and study them and draw them. for those of you who aren't artists, the reason why drawing helped at the time was because when I was drawing, that's all I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just focused on what I was doing. You probably do the same thing. Some of you do the same thing when you're cleaning. Cleaning is a very common thing that us females do to relieve stress. Is to just tidy up and clean because it gets us moving. Our brain is focused on the task at hand, and it helps kind of block out whatever is going on. So anyway, I got a little bit off topic, but back to what I was talking about. So, as I became an adult recently, I didn't become an adult recently, but in the recent years, I went through some very difficult times, and I kind of felt forced back into doing art because I really didn't have anything else. So I started doing art again to self-soothe, and something kind of clicked and changed in my brain, because rather than looking at art as a chore and trying to hone my skills, I was looking at art as a self-soothing tool and a therapeutic tool. And so I wasn't drawing to please anybody else. I was drawing for myself and myself alone. And that really switched up the drawing, the art process for me and how I viewed art. And it really brought my drive back, because art has always been a huge part of who I am as a person. And life as an adult is so complicated, and we have so many obstacles to overcome, and our time is often pulled in several different directions. So if we make this rule for ourselves that we have to have energy and be in the mood for art, it just won't happen. So to me, art has been as valid a self-care as taking a shower or doing your makeup, or, things that we see necessary in order to take care of ourselves. I feel creativity belongs there as well. I feel like creativity should be viewed as self-care and something that is just as important as doing our makeup or taking a shower or reading a book. Although reading a book sounds kind of like it's a luxury, but I feel like art shouldn't be a luxury. It's a part of self-care is what I'm getting at. So, the only way I can share with you on how I switched my view on art from strictly business, trying to hone my skill, trying to get better, be a people pleaser, do something that's really beautiful, yada yada yada, to expressing myself, understanding my feelings, understanding my thoughts, nurturing my soul, nurturing who I am as a person. I had to get into a place where I needed it. So for me, that was my divorce. I really needed art to get through what I was going through. And I used it all sorts of things, which, by the way, I did get therapy. And there was one session where I actually brought some artwork, some bent artwork that I did, and showed it to my therapist, and she was really impressed. But I did portraits that were, some of them aren't pretty. That's because it's about me. It's not about pleasing anybody that's looking at this stuff. It's about understanding how I feel and expressing how I feel without hurting anyone. And so I did a portrait of myself where I was dirty. I was like full of dirt, and I had scratches on my skin, and I just looked like I hadn't slept in a while. And because that's how I felt. I felt complete. I felt like at the time I had been through a washing machine. Like I had just been on cycle. somebody just threw me in there and I had been tumbling around, and then I was spit out and I just felt washed up. I felt dried out and gross. But being able to put that on paper and see it helped me let go of it. And that's what I want to share with you is we can validate how we feel and what we're going through by putting it on paper. And it does not have to look like what other people want it to look. It can. So a good example is I was blessed with the opportunity to draw with this little girl who volunteered at the soup kitchen that is part of the organization I work for. And I went in there and I brought my tools with me and we did some coloring. And she happened to be upset that morning because, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know this until later after she started drawing. Well, okay, let me back up. So first of all, I went through how you can connect emotions with color. And I asked her if you could pick a color to represent how you're feeling, what would it be? And she said purple. And she started coloring this beautiful mosaic of pink and blue, and there was a heart in the middle, and in the middle of a heart was a purple line, and it was conflict, and on one side there was blue, and on one side there was pink. And this is just coming from a 7-year-old girl. And after she did that picture, she opened up to me, and she said, I'm not angry. I'm sad because when I showed my mom my report card, she said she was surprised. And this little girl took that as her mom was disappointed in her. It's when we do art to express ourselves and to help cope with how we're feeling, it's like spewing out this roadblock that's inside of us, right? There's something blocking us from being able to fully express what we want to express. So consider it like unplugging a cork on a bottle. You take away the cork and you pour out the contents of the bottle. That's what creativity can do for you. It's pouring out what's inside and giving it a form. And once you have that form, and once you look at it and sit in it for a bit, you can understand more about yourself and what you need to express. So today, I would like you to be creative if you're stressed out. If you had to pick a color for what stress feels like to you, what color would that be? If you had to pick a shape for what stress feels like to you, what shape would that be? Maybe it's just a big squiggly pile, I don't know. Or maybe you want to distract yourself from the stress. So is there a place that gives you happiness? Is there a place that makes you feel happy and feel relieved or comforted? There's so many endless possibilities of how we can express ourselves with creativity, and no way is the wrong way. We just need to do it. And the more you do it, the more you're going to need it and realize how valuable a tool that is. So, with that said, please use the remainder of this video to continue to be creative. If you do make something, I would love to see it. Share it with me. Share it with your friends and family. Tell me any. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you would like to, I want to create a safe space where you can express yourself and tell me the story behind what you make, how you were feeling, and why you did this. Because that's all about mindfulness and what we connect with, how we're feeling. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I look forward to seeing your creations. Stay creative. Remember that creativity is meant to be a tool for healing and for rest. And enjoy the rest of your day today. God bless.